Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been following the NHL over the past few weeks, you already know that the trade market is buzzing like never before. And the Montreal Canadiens, as always, are right in the middle of this whirlwind. But this time, the news is especially intriguing because it involves a player who could be a game-changer for the Canadiens roster. We're talking about a 40-goal scorer who's reportedly available on the trade market, and his potential arrival could address one of the team's most pressing needs: second-line center. Yes, you heard that right. The Canadiens have been searching for a reliable, high-caliber player to slot into that second-line role, and now, it seems, they might have a real shot at landing someone who could make an immediate impact. So, what's the story? Well, it all started with rumors swirling around the trade market, and recently, those rumors gained a lot of credibility thanks to some credible sources. Jeff Merrick, one of the most trusted voices in hockey reporting, confirmed that this star player, who has consistently scored 40-plus goals over the last few seasons, is indeed available. And interestingly enough, this player is not just any scorer. He's a well-rounded, versatile center who can contribute in all zones, someone who could instantly upgrade Montreal's offensive firepower. Imagine the possibilities: a player who can both set up and finish plays, bring leadership, and inject some much-needed energy into the Canadiens' lineup. Now, this player is none other than Jared McCann, a 29-year-old center who stands 6'1" and weighs around 191 pounds. Over the past 3 seasons, McCann has been nothing short of excellent, putting up 61, 62, and 70 points respectively. Just last year, in 2022-23, he scored 40 goals in 79 games. Think about that, 40 goals in a season. That's the kind of production that can elevate a team's offense and turn the tide in tight games. And what makes McCann even more appealing is his two-way game. He's capable of playing tough minutes, winning faceoffs, and providing offensive punch at even strength and on the power play. For a team like Montreal, that's exactly what they need: someone who can slot in seamlessly and help carry the offensive load. But why is Jared McCann available now? Well, the reason is tied to the current situation in Seattle, where the Kraken's new management is reevaluating their roster. According to Jeff Merrick, Seattle's GM Jason Botterill is open to trading some key pieces, and McCann is reportedly on the market. The Kraken are in a bit of a rebuild or retooling phase, and they're looking to acquire future assets or draft picks that can help them build a sustainable contender. McCann, being 29 and with his recent production, fits the profile of a player that teams like Montreal could target to bolster their middle six. Now, let's pause here for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. The rumors suggest that the Canadiens' management, led by Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, have been actively exploring trade options for a while now. They've been linked to various players over the summer, but nothing concrete until this recent development. Jared McCann isn't just a pipe dream, he's a real possibility. And for Montreal fans, this could mean a shift in the team's offensive dynamics. Imagine a line featuring McCann, possibly alongside skilled wingers like Juraj Slavkovsky, or even some of the younger prospects coming up through the ranks. That kind of firepower could make a huge difference in how the Canadiens approach their season. Now, let's talk about why Jared McCann could be a perfect fit. First of all, his style of play meshes well with Montreal's current core. The Canadiens have been focusing on building a team that emphasizes speed, skill, and responsible two-way hockey. McCann checks all those boxes. He's got the offensive instincts, the skating ability, and the hockey IQ necessary to thrive in the Canadiens' system. Plus, his experience in the league and consistency over the last few seasons makes him a reliable option. Of course, acquiring a player like McCann wouldn't come cheap. The Canadiens would likely have to part with some valuable assets. Rumors have floated around about Mike Matheson, a steady defenseman, and a second-round pick being involved in potential trades. Would you do that? Would you trade Matheson and a draft pick for a player like McCann? That's the kind of debate that's heating up among fans and analysts. On one hand, Matheson provides veteran stability on the blue line, and the draft pick could be a future star. On the other hand, adding McCann might be the missing piece to push Montreal closer to playoff contention and even a deep run in the postseason. Now, what about the implications for the team's roster and future? Well, if Montreal manages to land Jared McCann, it could significantly bolster their second line, giving them a more balanced and dangerous attack. It would also send a message that the Canadiens are serious about contending sooner rather than later. Moreover, McCann's presence could help develop younger players by providing a veteran presence and mentorship. It would also take some pressure off the top-line stars like Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki, allowing them to operate with more freedom and less defensive responsibility. Looking at the bigger picture, this move could shake up the entire Atlantic Division. The Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, and Florida Panthers are all loaded with talent. But adding a player of McCann's caliber to Montreal could tip the scales in their favor, especially if they address other needs during the trade deadline or in the offseason. It's about building a team that can compete now and have the flexibility to grow in the future. The Canadiens have been patient, rebuilding through the draft and developing prospects, but now, with opportunities opening up, they're showing they're ready to make bold moves. And folks, if you've been following the Canadiens' recent seasons, you know that this team has been on a roller coaster. The 2022-23 season was a mix of promising moments and frustrating setbacks, but the core of the team has shown resilience. Players like Cole Caulfield have blossomed into genuine stars, and Nick Suzuki continues to develop into a true leader. The addition of a player like Jared McCann could unlock even more offensive potential and help Montreal climb back into playoff contention. The team's management has been methodical, emphasizing smart acquisitions and long-term planning, and this rumored trade could be the next step in their evolution. Now, let's not forget the historical context. The Canadiens are one of the most storied franchises in NHL history, with 24 Stanley Cup titles to their name. While they've gone through rebuilding phases over recent years, the passion for this team remains as strong as ever. Every trade rumor, every signing, every draft pick is viewed through the lens of their rich legacy. And fans are eager to see their team not just compete, but contend for the ultimate prize once again. As we wrap up this deep dive, remember that hockey is unpredictable, and trades like these can change the course of a franchise in an instant. Whether or not the Canadiens pull off a deal for Jared McCann, the fact is that the team is actively exploring options to improve their roster. And that's a good sign for everyone who loves this team, who believes in their potential, and who dreams of seeing the Canadiens lifting the Stanley Cup once more. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you trade Matheson and a second-round pick for Jared McCann? Do you think this move makes sense for the Canadiens' future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. Thanks for being here, and as always, go Habs.